such good shit.
Hello, guys, and welcome to the 27th edition of the Next One podcast on Zoom or on audio. It'll be on both. I'm Ryan calling along with Brendan Smith, Zach Maharmo, and no Brendan Hennessy today. He is unavailable, but maybe we'll get his audio issues fixed soon. But we have a lot of issues because we've been off for 3 weeks, and I've missed you guys. How have you guys been over these past 3 weeks?
I mean, I think it's the best 3 weeks of sports to miss because nothing has happened.
I've played a lot of 2K. That's been my way to slowly fill that void as much as I can. But it just doesn't compare. I found myself placing bets on virtual video games. Like, you could bet on these tournaments, didn't watch them, didn't pay attention at all, just because I'm that bored. I will put $5 on a couple of 2K games because that's where I'm at with my life right now. That's how low I am.
That's what we've gone through. And on our last episode, we were speculating where Tom Brady would go, and now 3 weeks later, he is confirmed a Buccaneer out of all teams possible. And just today, he released on the Players Forum a message to New England Patriots fans. And Smitty, I think you're well knowing about this. And what do you have to say to New England fans?
I was right at the point where I was at the acceptance stage of grief, and now I'm back to square one because of this article. I was like at the point where I just had accepted everything that happened, the fact that he's going to be in Tampa Bay. He's not going to be our quarterback. You go to Gillette Stadium on Sunday, 1:00 in September, Tom Brady's not going to be there. He's not going to be there. And then he releases I didn't realize that this article was actually out like 4 hours after he tweeted it. I had my tweet notifications on for like a month for him because I was waiting for him to tweet out where he was when he was going to leave, which was also very upsetting, and we will get into that. But I saw he tweeted an article about New England. I instantly clicked on it, and the minute video, like that, he really put it into perspective, like the clips of him when he was drafted, like in camp, to the last couple seasons, the Super Bowl runs. Like, it's been that long. I mean, 20 years of this, and like it really is over. I think that was like the sense of closure for me was really like with him kind of looking back and like reflecting on his time here and everything he's grateful for. Because honestly, it really still hadn't hit me until I read that article. And like people are saying that people are trying to start a narrative that he took shots at Belichick, saying that he now will have the opportunity to like be a leader, like have his voice matter, things like that. I don't know if it's like that direct. I mean, he could be. I think that's something that people, especially people who in the Boston media, who have always tried to spin these narratives against him and this narrative that there is a power struggle with them. I do think it exists to some extent, but I think it's a stretch, and I don't think he would use that platform to go ahead and then take shots at anyone in the organization, even Bill. And I still think that Bill's the reason why why he left New England. But I don't think it was any of that. I think it was pure love and appreciation for everything that he's had here. But now that's it. I mean, that's over. He's going to be in Tampa Bay. The pressure is going to be on him if he's going to be able to perform outside of New England, and it's going to be the same on Bill if he's going to be able to be successful without Brady. So I mean, assuming that we have an NFL season next year, now it's all in the future and what's ahead of them. And it's going to be extremely unique to both of their situations and very fun to watch.
Right after we were on our hiatus for 3 weeks and Tom Brady made his decision, Boston was just taking some tough hits from Chris Sale needing Tommy John surgery. Mookie Betts leaving a few weeks prior, Tom Brady now leaving. Like, there's a lot of funny tweets about saying someone should really check up on Boston, see how they're doing right now, because
I think
Yeah.
at the same time, that's like when like the St. Patty Day things were canceled, the parade was canceled, all the bars were closed down, so people in Boston were on a real low.
it's just
Yeah,
blow.
Brady announcing that
blow.
he's not coming back to New England on St. Patrick's Day. Like that is that's a recipe for disaster for all of New England. On the first St. Patrick's Day that was canceled in forever.
Like, I can't imagine that they're like, I think the one in Chicago has been going for like 120 years plus, and this is the first time it got canceled. Like, this is the first time the Boston Marathon's been canceled in its 100-year plus existence. Like, it's insane. But Tom Brady, it hasn't hit me as hard just because there's no sports going on right now, so I'm just assuming all sports are just canceled forever. So I'm assuming it's not gonna happen. Like, it's gonna happen, but I'm just like, not because nothing else is going on. So I'm like, there's not gonna be a sporting event to happen anytime soon. I mean, the first sporting event that's claimed to be coming back is the U.S. Open, is it? I think, or
In July, I think.
yeah, it's like
The
wait until July.
yeah, I forget. I think the US Open may have been pushed to September, and there's a different tournament that will now be in July. I forget exactly, but yeah, I mean the NFL or the NBA and NHL are suspended indefinitely. Baseball is too. I mean, baseball may be like the first thing that comes back when it comes to the top four sports.
And
Like
they're
the
gonna start
NFL, I mean
the 6-2 games.
yeah, like the NHL and the NBA may not even have they may not play games for the rest of the year until the 2020-2021 season. So
Don't say that's many. Don't say that.
could be, but
Now let's getting back to the Patriots. What do you think this means for the Patriots' initial future? Like, will Stidham be the quarterback? Are we going to draft a quarterback? Do you think the Patriots can have a winning record and make the playoffs? And also, we missed that the NFL's not going to have 7 seeds on AFC and NFC side for the playoffs. So,
and they add another game.
yeah, another wild card game because the 2 seeds no longer going to get a playoff bye.
Yes.
But do you guys think Patriots? How much success do you think the Patriots can have with Stidham versus drafting another quarterback?
Unfortunately, I really don't think that much success. I think regardless, I think we have to draft another quarterback. I think, I mean, like as of right now, would you want like it's either Stidham or Hoyer? So you need another guy in there for some sort of competition, whether we get him through a free agency, or which I think we're gonna end up drafting somebody with our first round pick. I really hope we don't trade it away. But if we can get like a Jordan Love, that can fight for that potential number 1 spot. I mean, we're gonna take a couple. We're gonna have a couple of rough years especially because the Bills are getting better. I mean, they just got Diggs. The Miami it has like they can only go up. They got all those people in free agency, and they have 3 first-round draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
So all the teams in our conference are on the up and up, and we're kind of declining. So I do think there is going to be a bit of a rough patch for us.
I have something to pick against Matt Patricia and like the whole Dolphins
Brian Flores.
organization.
What you got, bro? What you got?
Why they feel the need to take all the Patriots free agents? Like, why can't you develop your own players? Why do you have to take there's Patriots players and bring them to your side?
Well,
I mean,
heard
they kind of did develop them. I would say Patricia, especially. He was a coordinator.
I did hear this thing though with Darius Slay, the cornerback that was at the Lions when Patricia got there. Apparently, when Patricia got there, like he tried to like kind of run shit right away, and like a lot of the guys were like, dude, like you haven't even like got our respect yet, before you trying to come in and kind of like run our shit. And so apparently, like I think Ryan, I think you were talking about it or you tweeted about it that like assistants of Bill Belichick try to take his system other places and implement it. So I think they want Patriot guys because they know that kind of ideal and system is already ingrained in them. so they don't have to.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of fighting anymore.
Yeah, I'm pretty
serious.
sure
I'm
he told.
serious.
I actually didn't think of that, but I think it definitely is valid for Patricia because of that. I'm pretty sure he said to Darius Slay, "You act like you're a top 5 cornerback, but you're not shit. Like you're nothing special." And from the start, and McDaniels did the same thing when he went to Denver, and no one liked him because he tried to act like he was Bill Belichick, and he was just an asshole to people. And everyone, like, you don't earn that respect as a head coach right away. Like Belichick does that because he's been so successful. Like you have been a small piece of that. It's completely different when you're a head coach. But Flores, I don't think Flores is that type of guy. I think he's able to be his own, have his own philosophy and be his own self when it comes to being a head coach. But he got what's his name now? I'm completely blanking. But he signed Kyle Van Noy, and then I think they signed Ted Karras too, the center. So I mean, to get a couple guys like that, especially Van Noy, who's won 2 rings. He got a big contract, but to go down there and try to start the culture, especially on defense, where I think is for New England has been extremely consistent over the past 5 years, like this second legacy or second dynasty that they've had, and in that core of players. And the guys that they re-up to come back here to keep that foundation here. I think maybe Flores is trying to build that for the Dolphins defense. I think Patricia traded for those guys and signed the people that he did because he wants people to listen to him. Exactly.
Because he's on the hot seat now, because if Lions suck again, then he's out.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of negativity coming out of the Lions saying how everyone hates Matt Patricia and how somehow he's like a scientist, but he's like an idiot, which I can kind of believe he's an idiot. Like school smart, but street dumb. Like I'd see that as Matt Patricia.
Matt Patricia it is definitely possible that he is the New England Patriots defensive coordinator this time next year. It could be why Bill didn't hire a new defensive coordinator or promote anyone to it after Flores left, because he just knows that Patricia's coming back because he's a terrible head coach.
He knows it's inevitable.
This guy's gonna come crawling back.
It happened with McDaniels, so it'll probably happen with Patricia too.
And you don't think Belichick's gonna promote his son to defensive coordinator this year?
Yeah.
I wonder if his son got any offers other places.
Yeah, I bet he's gotten like assistant coaching positions, but probably has to wait.
Strictly because his last name is Belichick.
Yeah. And he sounds exactly
no. I don't think so. Especially with his background, I feel like defensive coordinators traditionally come through like the defensive lineman tree or a linebacker tree. Like how many safeties or defensive back coaches have been defensive coordinators? Because Flores was a linebackers coach, right? And I'm pretty sure Patricia was a D. Belichick was a safe, but I'm thinking of defensive coordinators or defensive assistants over the past few years. I'm pretty sure Patricia was a defensive line coach, but I mean that could just be recency bias. But he is also Belichick's kid. But I don't know. I mean, it could be Mayo too. Like I do think while Bill is giving his son, he gave him a coaching chance and he's worked his way up. I don't think he'll give him any advantage for being his son. I think he probably made that clear when he hired Steve, and then I think Brian, is the other son who's on the staff, that I'll give you the opportunity, but now you have to make the most of it. I'm not going to hold your hand. Like I'll show you the ways, but I'm not going to hold your hand through. I'm not going to give you any special treatment. That's not how it's going to work.
Yeah. That seems like something Belichick would do. Like, just doesn't, like, he only wants to win. He's not going to treat his son with favoritism if that's not going to help him win.
Yeah, or like put him in a position where he is not going to succeed. Like if he's not ready to be a defensive coordinator, I don't think he would do that to his son.
And I think this is additional heat to the fire, and now Belichick probably is like, okay, now I'm going to show that I'm like, he shouldn't have anything else to prove because he won 6 rings. He's already considered the greatest head coach of all time. But like, the reason why Devin McCourty came back, he said he was out the door and then found out Brady left, and he's like, because Devin McCourty wanted a new mission, wanted a
New challenge, yeah.
challenge, exactly. And Brady leaving, it's like all of a sudden a whole new challenge because everyone's just downing the Patriots right away. And I feel like Belichick probably has that mindset too, where like, I'm gonna show you why I'm like the best coach in the NFL, and I'm gonna like, yeah, anyone saying the Patriots are gonna tank this year is an idiot, and
They won't tank. They won't tank. I just don't think
No.
like talent wise, we're just not that great.
Yeah.
You know, I think
No, he wouldn't have. No,
I
he
think
wouldn't have given McCourty that money, and he wouldn't have signed his brother to have picked up the option either.
Yeah, anyone saying tank for Trevor Lawrence is a stupid idiot.
I don't think it's like physically possible for Bill Belichick to purposely just not have a good team.
No.
Like he's gonna coach him up, and he's the greatest coach of all time. So his coaching ability, they're going to win games.
Yeah,
maybe not as many as we've had in the past, but
even look at what Miami did last year. Like they completely tore apart their roster from top to bottom. They were terrible. They traded away all their good pieces, and I mean they had something going at the end of the season, and they came into New England and beat the Patriots in Week 17
and Minka
and forced
Fitzpatrick
them to play on Wild Card Weekend. You know,
Minka Fitzpatrick was a coward.
Yeah,
wimpy. But I think Patriots can be a 10-6 team.
Whoa!
I think we can be 10-6.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could. I think that they have, depending on how good Stidham or whoever they start a quarterback is, if they draft someone, they have maybe a 2-year window here where they can still, I won't say rebuild, but reload and still run the East, because Miami is still, I would say, 2 years away. They still don't have a quarterback. They have a young core. They have a ton of draft capital, but to draft quarterback, get him in the system, if they get a core defense, get a couple of weapons on offense, let that develop over the next couple of years, they're going to be a big problem. Long term, I'm more scared about them than the Bills, because I love Josh Allen, but he's not
the answer.
Not a good quarterback, and I think that they should definitely, if they can get like a Jake Fromm or Jalen Hurts or anyone else who may be available in like the 3rd, 4th round, that they should go after a quarterback, because I think this might be Josh Allen's last year in his rookie deal. If you can get someone who's better than him now, and that you maybe gamble on him like the Buccaneers were probably debating or thinking with Winston, if they weren't able to get Brady, like they'll be in that same position. And they do have the talent. They have a decent head coach, but I don't trust Josh Allen. He literally almost threw away the game in the wild card game against the Texans. Yeah, with the whatever. Like he's not the guy. He's a AFC Mitch Trubisky. He's not the guy. A great team, great defense, not the guy.
That's a big comparison.
He's a bit better. I would take Josh Allen over Mitch, but it's the same thing. It's the same situation. Just he's not a starting quarterback. And I think that he's still leading a team. He's such a liability. No.
The Bills should get Jameis Winston.
Who? Jameis
Winston. The Bills.
I think it's funny. All the people, like, there's a lot of Patriots fans tweeting about like why hasn't Bill Belichick signed Cam Newton, and there's two reasons. Hook 'em. 2 reasons why Belichick is not going to sign Cam, and the first reason is because we have $750,000 of cap space, so we can't afford him. And the second is that Belichick, I think somebody was saying it, Belichick loves the ultimate traditional quarterback where, like a short pocket passer, you're not going to risk turning the ball over, just trying to get yards on the field and a team guy rather than a me guy. And I think Cam Newton, he's not as much of a me guy as people say he is, but he's not the quarterback you could see Belichick wanting to like win a Super Bowl with. I think Stidham is Belichick's guy for this year.
I think we draft a quarterback. I think there will be a QB battle. I think Stidham's going to have to prove himself. I don't think Belichick's going to give him anything. He really didn't prove anything this year.
I think they'll draft the quarterback too. And so when they signed Hoyer, I felt like that was an indication that Stidham is going to be their guy, at least for this year, because of obviously Hoyer's experience in the system. But I believe that he may actually end up on the coaching staff after he retires because of the praise that he's been given by Belichick and McDaniels with running the scout teams. And I mean, they gave him credit for scheming against the Rams in the Super Bowl, in Super Bowl 53. They said he played a huge part, I believe, scouting their offense.
Because he could mimic Jared Goff's game.
Yeah, because they're both terrible quarterbacks.
Whoa, Jared Goff is okay.
No, the Rams should have opted out of his contract when they had the chance. But
it's not terrible.
He will help.
Not worth like
He's
$33
terrible.
million a year, but he made.
Rams are gonna suck next year.
He's not worth it.
I'm not.
And they traded away their first round pick, so these new logos for nothing. But Hoyer knows the system. Yeah, Hoyer knows the system. He can help mentor Stidham. I'm pretty sure that there were reports from them last offseason with him helping Stidham, step into join the team, step into the system, learn the ropes, things like that. And he's going to be that guy for Stidham. I do still think they draft quarterback in case it doesn't work out with Stidham because you can evaluate talent, obviously, when they're in college, in the draft, in OTAs, in practice, especially having Stidham for a year. But when he's a guy, I mean, things do change. It changes for you mentally, how you prepare, the things that you do during the week, and the pressure's on. And when that hits you when you're in that situation, you don't know how it is hard to predict how that's going to play out. And it's not a guarantee. You may think it is, but that's never a guarantee that it's going to play out right. And I still want them to draft the guy in case that happens, because if it does work out, you can still trade. If they draft Jalen Hurts, say in the third round, and he flashes in preseason, but Stidham's a guy, he wins a starting job, and Stidham has a great year this year. They could still trade Jalen Hurts if he does good in the preseason. If teams like what they saw in him, I mean, you could still trade him at next offseason, someone like that, because it's only a year. Even being in the system under Belichick, I mean, that could even boost a quarterback's draft capital.
I mean, look at Brissett and Garoppolo.
Yeah, exactly. The last two quarterbacks that he's drafted. I mean, Garoppolo played in the Super Bowl last year. Brissett, I think Brissett should still start for the Colts over Rivers. But I mean, that's a whole nother thing. But I think he is the starting quarterback. So I mean, with that track record right there, just over the last few years, I mean, that could help. That could help a quarterback's trade capital.
I don't think. I think if you just look at history, I think the Patriots going to trade down. I think they're going to trade their first.
Say that.
I think we're going to try to get 2 second-round picks or something.
Don't say that.
No, I think they will too. They'll probably trade. They'll probably trade with the Rams. I mean, not the Rams. The
Browns.
No, I was going to say the 49ers, but I think they traded their first round pick. But I was going to say they'll probably trade back in the first round and try to get a second round pick.
Try to get multiple.
Or trade like a first and a third and get a late first and an early second, something like that. I don't know, they could. But I do think, unless if they have a quarterback, like say they like Love, and he drops to them at 23, maybe they, when the draft is like 2 weeks from now. I don't know where he's really projected to go now.
He's projected to go like mid to late first round.
Is he still in that window? Okay. 'Cause
Yeah, so
I said I think the last episode how quarterbacks draft capital always rises up, and Herbert was one of the guys projected to go to the Pats, and now he's projected to go 6th overall to the Chargers.
Yo.
So I didn't know if that's happened with Love yet.
Yeah, the quarterback's kind of all over the place, especially because the main thing is they don't really know. Nobody really knows about Tua, where he's going to go. So they don't know if the Dolphins are going to take him at 5 because that'll kind of change everything with what the Chargers want to do and all the other teams that need quarterbacks.
Yeah.
This is me, like, the most uninformed opinion right now, but I just hate Herbert's name. So he doesn't look like a quarterback that'd be good just because his last name's Herbert.
What?
For some reason, like, throughout the season, he just screams bust to me because his name's Herbert.
That is the most.
Could you see someone named Justin Herbert being in the NFL Hall of Fame?
I can't.
Is that on NFL? Is that an NFL Hall of Fame?
That literally what I'm
AMG.
basing my whole opinion on is I can't see Justin Herbert being a Pro Bowler.
Have you watched him play football?
No.
Oh my gosh!
But, like,
you're the worst. You're the worst kind of media person, Ryan.
Justin Herbert, like, I've watched so much tape on this kid. Just get all your opinions from everyone else and just slightly change it. That's how you roll. But
then and his last name's Herbert, so he's gonna suck.
Yeah, and I'm literally basing my judgment off Tua's. Tua is Hawaiian. Marcus Mariota is Hawaiian. Marcus Mariota was a bust, so Tua must be a bust. That's how my brain works. And
that's actually, I mean, history shows that that Hawaiian quarterbacks can't succeed in the NFL, especially if they're drafted top 5.
Exactly. That's literally what my brain's basing this whole thing off of right now.
You guys are the worst.
I mean, there's nothing else to do. It's just where my mind wanders is instead of researching, I think of random coincidences coming.
So then, does that mean the opposite, right? Does that mean like people with cool names are going to be really good? Like, for example, like what do you think about CD Lamb?
CD Lamb, he's Oklahoma.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's from Oklahoma.
Yeah. I could. CD Lamb sounds like a Pro Bowler. CD Lamb and like Amari Cooper kind of like correlate to me.
Okay.
I don't know about play wise, but name wise, definitely.
I think he'll be top 3. I think he could even be the best wide receiver in the draft. Yeah,
he's crazy. These wide receivers in this draft are crazy good.
Who's the Alabama?
There could be.
Everyone loves.
There's 2. There's Ruggs, the fast guy, and then there's Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry Judy's the one everyone loves.
Yeah.
But what
But
do we got next, Ryan?
I just wanted to quickly ask, because the Patriots literally did nothing with the offensive weapons. If anything, we lost Philip Dorsett, but he kind of wasn't much of a factor. So do you think we're going to draft more defensively, offensively? Because the team, like the offense, which everyone complained about last year, is going to go into this year looking basically the exact same without Tom Brady and Philip Dorsett. Everyone else is coming back, so
I think we got to get some sort of tight end presence in our between blocking the running game and passing in the red zone and just every single down. I mean, Gronk was too much of a focal point in our offense the whole time he was with us to not even. I know we're never going to get a Gronk again, right? But we can't replace like 2/3 of him or just a half of him. We had no tight end production last year. We have to. So offensively, we need an offensive weapon, and then defensively, we lost our 2 linebackers.
we need linebackers.
So
Yeah.
Our D line was getting gashed left and right by other teams at the later half of the season. Ever since after we lost the Ravens team, then on we were just getting gashed by every team. But I think most pressing, I think we offensive weapons, we get the tight end, we get that spot solidified, and then we fill in pieces with the defense. But I mean, Bill Belichick is known for taking players who haven't really got the spotlight and preparing them for those moments. Freaking Jamie Collins, he went to the Browns and did nothing. Came with us for 1 year, and then got mad. Then he got mad money from the Lions. I'm like, Jamie Collins should be thanking Bill Belichick for everything that he's done for him.
Jamie Collins has so much to be thankful for Bill Belichick getting all the paychecks.
I'm pretty sure he
Yeah.
was benched with the Browns. I'm pretty sure he was on the bench.
He was, and he had trouble with injuries too. He tore his ACL, I believe, the year after he got paid, and he hadn't been the same. But I mean, it's also the Browns.
Did we get any free agents to the draft through on the defensive side of the ball? Did we get any free agents?
We got a safety.
We got the Chargers.
We got a safety, Adrian Phillips.
Okay.
And we got a defensive tackle and a linebacker. Really, I'm blanking on their names.
Yeah, see, we won't know him now, but he'll have 100 tackles next year.
Yeah, probably.
We got like the sixth wide receiver from Arizona.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a kid from UMass Amherst.
Probably half their defense will be our special teams next year.
We got the special. What's his name? He was. I forget who it was. I didn't do enough research before this.
Right.
But I think that they will definitely draft tight end.
You're all in on Moss.
I am all in on Thaddeus Moss, but they I mean, how can they not draft a tight end? I cannot picture a New England Patriots team without Tom Brady in their first year. Their first year without Tom Brady, with their tight ends still being Matt LaCosse and Larry Izzo.
They need
Ryan Izzo. They
essential.
have to draft. Yes, for the offense, that may be the only actual piece that they use, that they go after in the draft. They may not draft a wide receiver. I don't see why they would draft running backs. I think that they'll need a tight end, but majority of their draft is going to go on the defense, drafting linebackers, maybe even a defensive tackle or a defensive end. And then I would hope that they draft another lineman, a left or right tackle if they can get one.
Or our boy can come
priority
back
would probably
at left tackle.
be a right tackle. But I mean, when you could even, if Tooney's gone next year, you could kick Wynn back on the inside and put him at left guard. And if they draft a tackle this year, someone who may be able to play both right and left tackle, you could put him on at left tackle next year. I mean, that's something that they could work out this year to prepare for him leaving. But they have pieces that they're going to need to fill. But I still think that our receivers are going to be Harry Edelman and Jacoby Myers and Sanu. I think those are going to be the 4 receivers next year.
I think Belichick believes in N'Keal Harry in that. I think hopefully his bad year this year was just an anomaly. It's just him being injured and not being acclimated to the offense, and Brady probably just not looking for him. But
I genuinely think that will make a big difference for him, where now his quarterback is Stidham, who's looking to prove that he can play in the NFL for the team that's been the team to beat for the last 20 years. He's stepping in to replace the greatest quarterback of all time. He's going to take any opportunity to be successful, and may actually look at a guy like that who has a lot of talent, hasn't really been utilized as much as he can be, and start a relationship there, and that be a focal point for the offense to be successful.
Yeah. And just to finish on that point where they said Gilmore and McCourty were very high in praise for Stidham, but at the same time, that's what usually happens when it's a new quarterback. It's like, yeah, I believe in him, but they don't have to say something, but they said
that kid sucks.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it's just more proof that he's going to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are underestimating exactly what Smitty said. I mean, at the end of the day, these are professional players, and telling somebody that you're going to be backup compared to telling them, all right, you're going to be the starting player, everything in their life changes. Like Smitty said, the approach to the game changes. All the small details that they do in practice, everything changes. The level of focus, level of intensity that they have to end up ultimately taking their game to is higher, and I think that's known, across any major sports team. It's so much different. You have, Jarrett Stidham at this point is a starting quarterback. You have all this time, to prepare physically, mentally, emotionally, right, for that job. As of right now, it's yours.
Yeah.
So you're not coming in. Somebody just got hurt, and you're just filling in the role. It's your job. It's your job to lose, and it's your job to keep.
And it's
So,
also gonna be tough because OTAs and all that's not going to happen. All the workouts are just going to be canceled.
Yeah, I don't know, the whole thing is gonna be weird. I mean, unless this severely, the coronavirus severely like calms down, like by June and stuff, I wouldn't be shocked if like it was only like obviously team personnel in the building, but I don't know. Yeah, Ryan.
More depressing news is NBA season is still not happening. NBA, NHL, any sports currently. I think either Zach or one of you guys said that no, I forget if you guys said it, but the championship for March Madness is supposed to be today, so that's.
I don't think either of us said that.
Maybe
it really? I don't think anyone said that either, but I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because the championship's always on Monday, right?
It is for what football. A shame. This was the year the 16 seed was going to win it all.
It's true. Yeah,
a shame.
But they're saying right now that's 50-50 if the season is even going to happen. A lot of people are optimistic it's going to happen. A lot of people are negative, saying it's just going to be a wash. And I just want to know, did you guys end up watching NBA players play video games on ESPN Prime, like 8 o'clock prime time? Because I didn't.
That was a thing?
No.
Yeah, they played. They had a
2K tournament, right?
Yep, 2K tournament. And
real quick. Going back to football, real quick. They had like this mini Madden tournament. I don't know if you guys saw, right? But, I think it was 8 guys, but ultimately it was Derwin James versus Tyreek Hill. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, real question. Did any of you guys see it?
No, I didn't hear about
that. Okay, perfect.
Well, I saw the final score.
Okay. So I was watching. I was following it. Right, the final score was 52-3, Derwin James versus Tyreek Hill, and so it was 45-3. But then Derwin James, right, there was like 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and Tyreek Hill was trying to run it out. He promised some kid that he's gonna drop 50 in the championship. So he strips Tyreek Hill and drives down the field in a minute 30. And puts up 52 on Tyreek Hill. It was actually the funniest thing I've ever seen. Tyreek Hill was so butthurt. It was so funny. Oh, it was so funny. I'm like, we need more of those.
That's what he gets for being a child abuser.
That's
getting payback for his kid.
Madden is perfect payback.
All right. Back to the NBA.
But I did not watch it. I think it's like, I think if ESPN did nothing and just showed like 30 for 30s, like I'd be still in the same situation, but it wouldn't look as desperate as broadcasting people playing video games. Like this just feels like it's just sad to watch.
I kind of liked it. I was watching the other day the repeat of the 2016 NBA Finals between the Cavs and the Warriors, Game 7. Like
on ABC, they showed the 2008 Celtics final on ABC on Sunday.
Oof, damn!
I didn't know that. I missed that.
I watched it.
I agree. I would much rather watch like classic old games, even games in the last 20 years, than a mix of the NBA's best players and nobodies playing 2K on ESPN. And I mean, if that's what they're trying to do to get new content right now, imagine what it's going to be like in another month when we're nearing the end.
Geez.
At best, nearing the end of this situation.
It's kind of funny that I think Trae Young like doubled Harrison Barnes' score, and I think Boogie Cousins got doubled as well by I forget who, but
I love it because like I'm sure like regular people just think that, oh well, you're good at basketball, you must be good at 2K.
Yeah.
I think I saw that who's the star on the Suns, Devin Booker. He just refused to play with the Suns because he said they suck. So,
I mean, that's what the word on the street is that he wants to go to the Timberwolves.
to play with his boys.
Yeah, to play with Cat, the softest player in the league, according to Jimmy Butler.
Which is weird they'd want to go to Minnesota instead of going to a warm place like Arizona, but I mean, it's a prerogative. But Karl Anthony Towns is, just because like it came to my head, he's the most overrated elite NBA player. Because
You can't say that in the same sentence.
what do you mean?
Like, how could you be an overrated elite player?
Like, wouldn't
Not
most people
elite.
consider him like borderline elite?
He's not borderline elite. He's above average.
Okay, yeah, I'd consider him above average too, but like,
He's above average.
because
He's not elite.
he's not elite. Because I don't think he's led a team to above 500 record, and he's had Andrew Wiggins. But Andrew
Yeah.
Wiggins is also a bum. But
Yeah, if Andrew
He had
Wiggins
Jimmy
is
Butler
also,
too for
and
a
Jimmy, yeah,
second.
and Jimmy Butler.
I think he
so
could be,
good
though.
coming out of that now.
Jimmy Butler
Yeah,
is
he
my
does.
favorite player in the NBA.
He's come out looking so good, seeing how Karl Anthony Towns is actually soft as Jimmy Butler.
I love that wherever he goes, he's like, yeah, everyone's just way too soft for me to play with them. He goes to Minnesota, everyone's soft. He goes to Philly, everyone's soft.
But yeah, so shout out
It's
to Jimmy
great.
Butler. And now they're talking about like literally the least entertaining game you can play with your friends playing basketball is H.O.R.S.E, and they're gonna broadcast that on ESPN. Like out of all the game options, they had to choose H.O.R.S.E. Like you couldn't have figured out any other sort of game. Like H.O.R.S.E is the game you play when you played like half court or full court basketball with your friends and your legs are tired, but you don't want to go home yet, so you just play H.O.R.S.E because you can't run. Like that's what they're gonna show.
But when you do like some sort of like virtual dunk contest, or like a virtual 3-point contest, or like some sort of like half court shot, I don't know, not a horse.
Not H.O.R.S.E.
Or just nothing. Just don't even try. No one cares.
I'm on that nothing.
Just accept this pandemic and don't do anything.
Yeah.
Just,
Like honestly, I wonder if they would get more ratings playing classic games than like I don't. I mean, I personally I have no interest. I would rather watch the Celtics lose Game 7 of the 2009 Finals than watch this horse contest. I really would, and I hate that game because it would still be more entertaining.
I agree.
what they should do is play reruns of Wipeout on ESPN because Wipeout is the best show of all time. And
Ryan will die on that hill 10 out of 10 times.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure ABC broadcasts it, so ESPN can easily broadcast. Why don't you play Wipeout, ESPN? Wipeout is amazing. Maybe American Ninja Warrior too, but like some of those guys are hardos. Even though I know you, Zach, you're a big fan of American Ninja Warrior.
Like American Ninja Warrior.
American Ninja Warrior is the greatest pastime when nothing else is on TV.
Facts.
That and Impractical Jokers.
That and Practical Jokers, cooking shows.
Ooh.
Top 3.
Watching Chopped or
Watching kids Chopped is even funnier. These kids are sweating like crazy.
watching I like watching I don't know what else I like watching, to be honest. I don't really watch much.
Or anything with Gordon Ramsay is good too.
And any show with Gordon Ramsay yelling at people is
Yes,
fun.
I'm all for it.
I like Bar Rescue.
Bob Rescue's good.
Shut it the hell down. Like watching people's live. Oh, Shark Tank. Shark Tank's a good one too.
Shark Tank is good.
Watching people's livelihood get destroyed by billionaires in like a minute.
Look at my great idea, but this idea sucks. Ah, shit.
Watching their lives get destroyed is something about it. But I mean, we could on another podcast talk about the best non-sports shows to watch. We don't have that
Another podcast.
But something that ESPN is doing well. One good thing ESPN has done during this pandemic is moving up the date of the Bulls Jordan documentary from June to I think April 18th or 19th.
19th.
It's gonna be every week Sunday nights. I think you said Smitty, right?
Yep. 8 p.m.
Like this is like Jordan is a really master marketer. Like if you give him the credit, it could just be luck. Combines luck and skill, where this is what everyone's gonna be watching for the next 10 weeks because there's nothing else to watch. So like anyone that hasn't watched Jordan, which I mean, besides replays, I don't watch Jordan games because I wasn't alive for until he was on the Wizards. But this is what everyone's gonna watch, and I think it's gonna shift the narrative of LeBron versus MJ. I think a lot of younger people are gonna shift towards MJ after watching it because it's probably gonna be amazing.
I don't think so, bro. I actually have a different view on it. I think people are gonna watch it and be like, damn. I think Jordan had it easy, especially if they do it more towards the whole Bulls team. I'm like, damn, this Bulls team is one of the best teams ever to play. You know, you rank the top 10 best teams ever. You know, maybe one of the teams LeBron is maybe towards the bottom, 7 to 10, with the Miami Heat. But besides that,
But isn't that an indictment on LeBron James that he's the best player and he can't get his team into the top 10 all the time, but Michael Jordan can get his team number 1 and he's the go-to player on that team?
I think so. I think if you put LeBron on the Bulls team, I think they do the same thing. I think if you put Jordan on that Cavs team, I think they also lose to Golden State in 4.
I have no idea.
I'm just saying. My opinion.
Smitty, break.
What do you got, Smitty?
Not only will people be watching, this will be the only thing that people are watching. It's going to be the only thing that people are talking about for the next 10
We're
weeks.
going to be talking about the next few shows.
Because there's nothing going on. And it is absolutely going to reignite the debate of who is better. And that is going to be what is talked about for those 10 weeks. But I don't know how it'll play out. I think I do agree with Ryan where it will pull a lot of the younger generation to the Michael Jordan side of the argument. I mean, just looking at it, LeBron is just a beta, obviously. But I think now where we are at, I would consider him past his prime, but he is still an elite player. So in his prime, I view his prime as Miami, and in his prime, he still went 2-2, and so that was him at his best with the big three, arguably the best big three ever. They're the third best big three, if that. But I mean, I think that plays a huge factor in itself.
Yeah.
One thing I think what's going to happen is people who hate LeBron and have no reason to think that he's not great are going to be like, oh, well, look at all this information I just found out about Jordan. Jordan's this, Jordan's that. Look at all this information. And then they're going to be like, well, now Jordan's better than LeBron because of this fake information, which you can do this. The only thing people ever say about LeBron is because he lost in the finals. But the only real loss
against the Mavericks.
Yeah, that was the only one that held against him, right? That was only like, damn, LeBron, like you blew that one. Besides that, you lost to Golden State twice. You lost to the Spurs.
Sure.
I'm just saying, this is my opinion. These are my values.
In Dallas.
Who did he lose to? Didn't he make it the first time he was in Cleveland? Or am I?
That was against the Spurs too.
Yeah, he lost to the Spurs.
The first time?
Yeah.
Yep. He lost them twice.
Like in 2007.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say, yeah. I mean, I really only count the two that he lost to Miami.
Yeah, the Mavs one was great, but the Spurs were good that year. They were a good team.
I mean, Jordan faced good teams. Karl Malone and John Stockton of the Jazz, beating Charles Barkley, beating Magic Johnson.
I think the 90s were more competitive and more difficult than.
That's false. That's so false.
Decade.
Nobody shot threes. Nobody.
I mean, that's just
but it was
nobody shot threes. Everyone took layups or jumpers.
It was way more physical because the outside shot wasn't as nearly as a factor as it is now.
It was more physical, but it wasn't more competitive because teams couldn't inflate the score.
No, I think that it is more competitive because there wasn't a 3-point shot.
I know,
it was more difficult to score.
People making the NBA now just shooting a three. You don't even have to be able to dribble the ball.
It's another element of the game, and it makes it more complex. But the league was way more physical. There was so much more you could get away with. Honestly,
because you could punch people and not get a flagrant. doesn't mean it was more physical. People were just meaner back then.
The NBA is I honestly do think it kind of is a joke compared to the other major sports, but I love it. I love it, and I think the reason why a lot of other people love it is because of the draw from the personalities and the superstars are so big and recognizable. And that plays a huge factor, and they're able to keep people paying attention. But the fact that you can take 5 steps and get a layup, or take 2 step backs and then hit a 40-foot three if you're one of the best players in the league, like you're just allowed to do that. The refs don't care what you do. Like I just little things like that. I think ruin the league. But like that, I feel like the game was more genuine in the '90s, and also the physical play. I mean, that made it way more difficult to win, and there was more parity too. I mean, you knew LeBron. I mean, I guess with Jordan, I mean, you knew he was going to. He was in the finals every single year. But I mean, you also had that with LeBron. You had that with the Warriors. The Warriors went on this run where they were just unstoppable. They had, I mean, 2 of the best players in the league on their team for what, 3 years, 4 years.
3.
2 of the best shooters, arguably of all time, who could end up being the 2 best shooters of all time if they keep going on this pace.
I see your points, man.
And I will give LeBron credit that his.
Oh, wait, what'd you say?
I'll give LeBron credit. His 3 rings mean a hell of a lot more than Kevin Durant's 2 rings.
Kevin Durant? Yeah. Kevin Durant's on the fucking running? What you talking about?
I'm just saying. Even though I bought Katie's shoes, which are fire, but
that guy's rings mean nothing.
Oh yeah. So that's probably what which will also make me resent the Jordan documentary, because that's all anyone's going to talk about.
Skip Bayless is going to have a heart attack throughout it.
Yes, Skip. Yeah. He's going to be like making out with his TV how much he loves it, because LeBron won't be on the TV because they don't know LeBron.
He's going to be tweeting at LeBron the whole time. You wish you could do this at King James.
Yeah.
So now we got the hill will die on, because there's no other sports to talk about, and just because before we left 3 weeks ago, coronavirus, like they just canceled the NBA, but we thought like it'd be a month thing and we'd be back like May at the very latest, and now 3 weeks later we're finding out like the season might not happen, which is probably unthinkable 3 weeks ago. But we're gonna do the hill we will die on coronavirus edition. So just anything, like, because there's been so many like trends and all that, anything that's happened during the coronavirus, you like it or hate it, let's hear it.
You want to go first, Smitty, or who's going first?
You can go first.
All right. Well, I got 2 things. One thing is how whenever anything happens, right, in Massachusetts, right, or in a lot of the northern states, right, when it snows, right, for example, people just freak out, right? They freak out. Crap, we're getting 2 feet of snow. I got to go to the grocery store and I got to get a bunch of food because I'm about to die. Okay. The zombie apocalypse is following the snowstorm, so I have to get all the food for the next 3 months. And that is exactly what's going on right now across the whole country. Like right immediately, right when things were getting all canceled and like schools were closing, there were lines at BJ's, lines at Costco, lines at Target. Everyone's specifically saying do not go into mass crowds, and all these people just congregating in mass crowds at all these places. I'm like, I don't think you guys understand the whole point of everything. But anyways, once they're in the store, right, the stores have to put a limit on what things could get because people have no self-control and they do not understand the fact that everybody's going through this pandemic, so everybody needs things. No. Karen needs...
My kids need...
their 20 roll of toilet paper, because at the end of the day, if you can only have one thing in life, it's your toilet paper.
Can I say something?
Glad to know now that whenever there's pandemics in the future, that's going to be the first thing that people go for. So that's what we should prepare.
Actually, before you go, Zach, I have 2 quick things to say.
What you got?
One is that I feel bad for all the Karens like that are good Karens that their name's Karen, like generally good people, but because
They're just lumped into a group.
Yeah, I have an aunt Karen who is the goat, and her name's just getting trashed because all these other Karens that are doing her dirty. Second point is, I was watching on Netflix. It's it's a National Geographic show. It's called Doomsday Preppers, and I was watching it like just when this pandemic started. So it's funny, like these people have like stocks of everything. They have like bug out places where if everything goes to shit, they have a house to hide in.
Yep.
All this different kind of stuff. And I was laughing at it. And then as this continues to go on, I'm like, wow, those doomsday preppers don't even need to leave the house because they literally have everything. I'm like, I shouldn't have been laughing at them for 10 episodes in a row. But and what's your second one? Interrupting you.
My second one is that there are still some parts in the country that have not gone at least on some sort of partial lockdown. And like it's a huge problem because at the end of the day, it's still being spread. I'm watching places and like there are still some cities and like major parts of the country that like nothing has changed. Like in Florida, or was it Florida or Georgia? One of them, they just like lifted they just lifted the bans off of the beaches. Like Georgia. Now people can go back to the beach.
That was Georgia.
Like that's a horrible this is a horrible idea. Like this is the reason why we might not have an NFL season. This is the reason why there's gonna be no NCAA. Oh, jeez.
Florida recently put like a statewide ban like a few days ago.
The biggest problem.
Now that spring break's over.
Yeah, they got their money.
All these people want freaking like gratification right now, and they can't like just look, for the next month. If we let's just do this for a month and see what happens. But that's my rant. That's my TED Talk.
That's a good TED Talk. Smitty, you want to go? Or you want me to go?
Yeah, so I'll go. Mine's actually off of and somewhat related to what Zach just said. You guys see the governor of Georgia who came out on Saturday and said that he didn't know that asymptomatic people who are carrying the virus can spread it until 2 days prior. So last Thursday, he learned that. The governor of one of the 50 states in this country just learned that less than a week ago. I saw that and thought that not only should he have been fired on the spot and immediately removed from his position, he should have been shot to the moon. How do you not know that as a governor of Georgia, that it can be spread? I mean, I knew that. Everyone knew that already.
He should definitely fire
everyone on the totem pole here was already aware of that. And I don't know where you rank as a governor, even the governor of Georgia, but I feel like you're pretty high up on that poll, and you should probably know that when there's a pandemic going on. And then he was saying that this doctor who's been advising him, everything he knows about the virus is from her. So he was trying to blame this woman for not telling him that, and maybe she didn't know that either. So both of them should have been shot to the moon right then and there. I mean, honestly, like if that was I'm gonna completely blank on his name. I want to say Charlie Baker, but the governor. No, it is Charlie Baker. Marty Walsh is the mayor of Boston. I always get mixed up. If Charlie Baker came out and said that, like I honestly, as a citizen of Massachusetts, I would want him out of his job after that in the middle of a pandemic. I would want him gone. I can't believe that the governor of Georgia just found that out.
I'm pretty sure the CDC is also located in Georgia. It's located in Georgia.
We're screwed. We are royally screwed.
I would fire his information person. Whoever he gets his information from that didn't tell him that.
Yeah. I think I'll look it up right now. I saw an article that I think it was like from the New York Post. Basically, some entity got copies of anonymous cell phone tracking to see movement throughout the country. And
I saw this
everywhere up here, like Massachusetts, New York, Michigan, they they did pretty well, and then the down south was a shit show. The
Dude.
people are the movement, tracking the movement, how far people are traveling on a day-to-day basis, where people are in public areas at certain times throughout the day, the amount of people there. Like, it was terrible, and we're screwed. We aren't even close to getting through this pandemic. We're at
the middle of the
one.
country. The middle of the country. Look, it was. I saw that same chart you were on, Smitty. It was all red. It was all like normal like foot traffic. I'm like, these people are insane. These people are insane.
And I mean, think about the distribution of and the density of certain areas in this country, like obviously big cities, New York, Massachusetts, Chicago, Detroit. Detroit's been hit pretty bad. New York's been doing bad, but those people are staying in place. And even though there's more people there and there's less people down south, there's more area for there to roam, for those people to move around. That's not the point. The point is to stay in place and stay where you are.
It's
just say no. Just say no.
Yeah. Literally just stay in your home like a month and people will stop dying, and then we can get back to normal life. Or we're going to be here for God knows how long.
The rest of the time. Those are good ones. I have two as well. The first one is people that are telling like quarantining with friends and like have different friends over every day. Definition of quarantine is isolating yourself, and if you're doing it with friends, that defeats the whole purpose. So you quarantine with friends, people, stupid idiots. The second one is kind of a less serious one, but horny Twitter is getting out of control, and it needs to be stopped because like so many people I don't follow. It's just like the people I do follow retweeted because they're part of horny Twitter, but people retweeting horny stuff because they haven't had sex or something in a month, and
or something.
It's just I can't handle it. Way too many horny people on my timeline. Because there's nothing else to talk about. Is my theory on it.
You know, like I've seen like a couple tweets, but like I feel like you're getting like overwhelmingly more. Like I don't know who you're following.
Yeah, right? I think it's just based on the people that you follow.
Yeah. Maybe just people from Worcester are horny as hell. I don't know.
There's nothing else to do in Worcester.
There really isn't, so it makes sense. So yeah, I have beef with horny Twitter. And on Instagram, because half of Instagram's just people doing TikToks, and I refuse.
TikTok is the worst thing that could ever happen. That like it's blown up during this pandemic, and I hate TikTok.
Can we be an anti-TikTok podcast?
100%.
I'm anti-TikTok.
I 100%
My sister
anti-TikTok.
is not gonna like that because she's a big TikToker.
My sister is also
I'm gonna
huge.
Gonna have to break the news to her.
Like all she does is TikTok. I'm like, dude, can you stop? Like I've heard that same song 5,000 times.
Yeah,
I heard the ones like that starts off like I'm a savage.
Oh my god.
Oh
mainstream
my gosh,
TikTok
dude.
is the worst.
Megan the
Stallion. It's worse than listening to the radio. The radio is the same like 5 songs. The mainstream TikToks, that the ones that go viral, and then everyone tries to emulate it, and then you're hearing the same 3 songs out of everyone's phone.
It's so bad. It's like a 40-second song times 1 million plays. I'm like, I'm gonna go crazy.
Yeah. Dances required no footwork. It's like, and then just show your boobs a little and show your stomach a little. Like,
and then you just
it's like, I'm talented. You're not.
Oh my gosh, look at my eyes.
It's the worst. And like when you watch the videos, they're all like 15 and 16. It's like where are your parents?
Like, how do you have 40 million followers? You are a 16-year-old girl. You like go do your calculus homework.
But we also look very jealous because they just have all the following, and we can't.
True. They're also millionaires, and they're 16, and we're here. So
they have clout.
I think we're just haters at the end of the day. But I'll stand by my hating. That's the hill I'll die on. Stay hating. Play a hater's ball. Dave Chappelle. So now, this has been the moment I've been waiting for. I don't know about you guys, but Vince McMahon looks coronavirus dead in the face and says, "I'm not canceling shit because this is what I do." And WrestleMania went on with no fans. That was pretty weird, but the two highlights of the day was a two-parter. So this is the first time ever they did Saturday and Sunday. Gronk hosted WrestleMania, and wrestling fans absolutely hate Gronk already. Like,
Do they?
wrestling fans despise Gronk just because the Gronk. Because a lot of the wrestling blog sites or fan sites are like British people, so like I'm like, this is probably a lot of their first introduction to Gronk, and he's just wearing shades indoors at night. He's saying, "This is gonna be a 30-hour straight party, and that's what I'm used to." Like Gronk saying, like Gronk was trying to be like an '80s like hype wrestler, which I mean, I thought Gronk was funny, but Gronk won the 24/7 title, so Gronk is a WWE champion. So
Yep.
Champion once again.
I wonder what he cares more about, the Super Bowl champion or the WWE champion.
It's about the same.
Could have had a real championship this year if he was still playing football.
Gronk just partying in being a WWE superstar, but there were three standout matches for different reasons. One was on night 2, Edge versus Randy Orton. It was Edge's return after 9 years, and it was a last man standing match, and that match lasted, like, I could be over exaggerating, I haven't checked the exact number, but it was anywhere between 35 and 50 minutes. Like,
Jeez.
it was a long match, and
Wow.
like Edge looks absolutely yoked. Like, if you saw Edge like 10 years ago, like he had like serious dad bod, like
It was a little flabby.
a little flabby. He was like in his 30s, so he was still chilling. He's like 46 now, and he's cut out of his mind, yoked, didn't miss a step. So that was a great match, and they kind of fought all around the Performance Center, where they held WrestleMania. And the second standout match was the AJ Styles versus Undertaker, the Boneyard match, and like I didn't think like that was wacky. Like, it's cool because Undertaker can barely move nowadays. They did a good job at hiding like Undertaker. Literally, all his moves were just punches, and
Yeah, I don't know how Undertaker is still moving. I really don't get it.
that hip replacement surgery. He has a surgery every time he wrestles.
Legit 55.
Like he might be older.
My gosh. Retirement, man.
He's at 54, 55. You might be right. Like
I'll look it up.
it was like a movie where like getting different camera shots, like you're watching a wrestling movie. But it was funny, it was goofy because AJ Styles was just calling him an old man the whole time. A bunch of like guys in robes came out of nowhere and started beating up the Undertaker, but then Undertaker's beat him up. He was the American badass Undertaker, so that was fun.
55 years old.
He's 55.
Yeah.
But like it was awesome. Like, did not have to see Undertaker try to run or jump anywhere. It was not in a ring. It was literally in a like some sort of like graveyard, like a rural area in like probably like North Carolina. Something. There was like a barn. But Undertaker won. It was a fun match. You should definitely watch. Like, Undertaker just has that nostalgia. Like, most people know who Undertaker is. So if you just want to watch for that, like, it was good. Just like watch Undertaker do that. And probably the weirdest thing I've ever seen in wrestling, or probably in general, I've probably seen like a weird movie or something, but John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. Like, Smitty, you don't have much of wrestling fanage, is that fair to say?
Mm-hmm.
You have to, like, if I suggest you watch anything just to be completely confused, weirded out, and like entertained at all the same time, you have to watch Bray Wyatt versus John Cena, because that match was complete insanity. Basically, it was supposed to be like an Inception type of thing where Bray Wyatt can control time and space essentially, and John Cena was going back in time where he first debuted against Kurt Angle, where he's in like mini short trunk shorts, like no one knows who he is. And then it goes to Thugonomics John Cena, where John Cena
That was my favorite John Cena.
He had some funny one-liners, and the whole point of it was to show like Bray Wyatt was showing like how John Cena's like been handed everything, and John Cena's a terrible person, and it compared John Cena to Hulk Hogan, where they did like an 80s style promo where John Cena was just curling like weights, and he's like, "Let me tell you something, brother," like just lifting weights like crazy. That was funny. And they did John Cena, like he's like impersonating like Hulk Hogan, like doing all the NWO stuff. And it's supposed to be like Bray Wyatt beats like control John Cena, and it's just John Cena going through a loop. And then eventually, also the funniest thing that come out of it was when John Cena is posing as Hulk Hogan, because Vince McMahon has man crushes on any wrestler that's like 6'6", yoked in like baby oil all over him, just like anyone that looks like a bodybuilder Vince McMahon loves. And if you listen to pro wrestling podcasts and stuff, there's like a lot of stories how like Vince McMahon will say like, "That's good shit," like saying like something that's terrible, but like he loves it, and he'll say like, "That's good shit." And there's a Vince McMahon puppet when John Cena came out like doing all Hulk Hogan stuff. It's panned to the puppet, and the puppet's like, "That's good shit," and it was so funny. And Bray Wyatt obviously won. So if you guys haven't watched it, which I'm assuming not, you gotta watch that match, because that was the weirdest, funniest, craziest thing I've ever watched. And it made watching WrestleMania worth it, because since it was off somewhere else, there's no crowd, so you weren't expecting to hear a crowd like cheering or anything. And half of wrestling's hearing that crowd reaction to someone doing something to kind of like get you hype.
Yep.
Since there's no need for crowd reaction, it was amazing. I loved it. It was so funny, and it made me love Bray Wyatt a lot, but also made me love John Cena, like, because John Cena was like, there's a thing in wrestling called like jobbing out, where like John Cena did not get one like offensive move in at all. Like John Cena was made to look ridiculous the whole time. Like it's literally a whole segment of making fun of John Cena the whole time. And
Jeez.
John Cena was fully a part of it. Like he's like enjoying like making fun of himself the whole time. And it made me, I love John Cena so much more now because of it. So you gotta watch that segment. And I mean, wrestling is the only sport we got right now. So
True.
Oh, they're the only ones still kicking.
UFC's kind of going, but they're only doing big matches. But I highly
What is?
watching it. UFC. I think they're gonna fight.
Are they?
Like later for you? I don't know who's fighting or anything.
No,
But
they canceled that one, but we'll see.
yeah, I might be wrong. But please watch that video, and maybe
We'll do.
we can talk about it next week in the podcast, and you can just tell me how confused you guys were. But that's all I got to say, and I don't think we have anything left on this podcast. Is there anything we want to watch or do for next week to talk about? Because like, do we want to watch something and then report back and talk about it next week? Because there's no sports to talk about.
Nothing specific. I mean, we'll wait till like some sort of like schedule gets out, because I hope like ideally what they would do is they would like release some sort of list of like games, like past games that they're playing, and then like we could like pick one of those games, watch it, kind of review it, talk about like how crazy it was, like whether we talk about the 08 Celtics or what. Yes, I would say something like that. But right now, like kind of just waiting to see how everything falls.
We could all pick a prospective draft prospect. Prospective draft prospect. A draft prospect on the Patriots' radar, and give an analysis of them next week.
I like that.
Some actual football stuff. I like it. I was thinking just watching like a crazy documentary or movie or something and just talking about it, but that's probably more geared to what this podcast is all about. But any last words before we sign off for today's episode?
Carol Baskins killed her husband.
I'm so excited to go back to doing nothing.
I am so sad my St. Louis Battlehawks will not compete till next year. We didn't talk about XFL, but
I was hoping that you weren't going to bring the XFL up, because now I'm really upset.
But
Hey, PJ Walker though, he got signed. by
Smitty's
the
boy.
Panthers.
Smitty's been calling that since day one.
I called it.
I mean, I don't know.
Probably won't be starting. Probably will get cut. But also, Jordan Tam.
Yep.
Jordan Tam, the quarterback for the Battlehawks, got signed too by who did he get signed by?
The Chiefs.
I already forget. It was the Chiefs. Okay, he was probably the second best quarterback. They were the only two who were really consistent in the XFL.
Yeah.
So it is cool though. I mean, even though it was a short sample, and the XFL says they're coming back next year, it was cool to see a couple quarterbacks get picked up by NFL teams after this. So, and I hope that whatever happens, whatever if they still have the resources to have a league next year because it was fun.
So that was the episode. Last shout out to Jason Tatum donating $250,000 to coronavirus relief fund, and that's more than a lot of owners of like billionaire owners. Jason Tatum only in his third year donating like $250,000. That's insanity. So I think Jason Tatum's proving he's going to be a Boston player that will be in the upper echelon of like Boston favorites. I think he has.
Need a guy like that now that Mookie's gone.
Yeah.
Who would hand out food to homeless people at 2 a.m. We need a guy with that character.
We do. And now he's in LA. But I think Jason Tatum is gonna succeed, and it just makes me miss NBA more because Jason Tatum is one of those really likable guys, and I like watching him, even though I criticize him missing wide open layups. But for the Next One podcast, I am Ryan Conley, along with Brendan Smith, Zach Maharmo, and hopefully Brendan Hennessy next week. Until the next one, thank you for watching, and we got some video now, so up and up.